Freddie, what disciplines do you play on? Do you play with cocks or hens?
With the old birds, I play only with the hens.
Only with the hens, with the old pigeons,
and
yeah?
the youngsters, the cocks and the hens are raised.
Cocks and hens with youngsters?
With youngsters.
Yeah. And when will your season start with the young pigeons?
With the young pigeons, now we can clock electronic. It starts in June.
June?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And the old pigeons, when
start
will they start?
in April.
April.
Yeah.
And how many races will they have to go away on?
The old ones, 14, 15.
14, 15 flights, and the young pigeons?
11, 12,
yeah.
13.
Do you play on the short distance, middle distance?
Mostly middle distance and the 400 to 600 kilometers.
400 to 600 kilometers middle distance, right. This is your loft.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. It's white plastic, yeah?
Yeah. We build it our own.
You built it yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're a school teacher by profession. You're not a carpenter.
Not a carpenter, but with a lot of help from my friends, I have built it. I stopped 1 year with playing with the pigeons, for building the loft. Yeah,
because I read an article in former times you was just a young bird specialist, yeah? You played totally with the young pigeons.
Yeah.
Was it a big decision to build a new loft? Because when you're playing successful on the top, a lot of fanciers don't want to change the loft. You changed the loft and you're playing very well.
But it was necessary because I played in the loft by my mother's house.
Ah, yeah.
So when we built a new house, I wanted the loft in my own garden.
Yeah, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the loft then, please, Freddie?
Here we have the young birds loft. It's 12 meters by 4 meters.
Yeah.
And the hens are at the back.
Yeah, the hens are over the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the front side, this is for the breeding pigeons, yeah?
Yeah, breeding pigeons,
And how many breeding pigeons do you
now there are 25 couples.
25 couples, yeah.
But when I played only with youngsters, I had 50 to 60 breeding couples.
Yeah. And the origin of your family of pigeons, I read years back, it went back to the old Menk-Halterman pigeons.
It's still that. And I bring in the pigeons of the Rauw Sablon from Lebbeke and from several fanciers here in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Because your brother's also a fancier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your father was a fancier.
Yeah.
And I also understand your mother helps you.
She helps me a lot of,
Yeah. A lot when you're
when I am at school.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't do the thing with the youngsters when they are in the darkness.
Yeah.
She let them out around the clock of 3 o'clock, and when I come home, I can let them in. So they are in the darkness from 18 hours in the evening until 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah. All the pigeons enter the loft through Sputnik traps and so on. Yeah. These have been adapted to take the electronic clocking system. Yeah. And the clocking system you're using. Which system do you use?
This is Bricon.
Bricon. You use Bricon system. Yeah. Okay. Then so we'll go and have a look inside the loft. Yeah.
No problem.
Your young bird loft, Freddie, reminds me very much of the loft of Ad Scarlakens when I was there. He emphasises young pigeon loft must be very cosy, and this young pigeon loft is very cosy. You have boxes everywhere. Wherever there's a space, there's a box somewhere for them to nest. In former times, you only played with young pigeons. He was one of Belgium's feared specialists, shall we say. Several times they dope tested you, and several times, every time you was clear. When will these young pigeons first come into this loft?
In beginning of January.
Beginning of January, yeah. So the breeders, the queekers, they're coupled November, end of November. First pigeons in here, end of January, yeah. And will you add youngsters to those? Will there be a first round, a second round?
A first round from the breeders' loft.
Yeah.
Then you have a section for the hens, the youngster of the hens, and then afterwards the section for the second round from the breeders.
From the breeders, yeah. And they're all in different areas to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Young pigeons, will you use the darkness system with the young pigeons? Because even the winter bred pigeons,
Even then, yeah.
Even then, yeah. So,
I start with it, let's say, in February.
Yeah. So just tell us how you operate your young pigeons from when they first come into the loft.
They get food breeding.
Yeah, breeding mixture, yeah.
Breeding mix. They don't get any treatment.
No medication.
No medication. No, nothing against trichomonas. The first time they get trichomonas is when they are 5-6 weeks old, and directly after that, I let inject them against
for paramyxovirus,
yeah.
Paramyxovirus, yeah. So 5 or 6 weeks old, get a cure
as soon
for
as
trichomoniasis,
possible,
yeah.
They get that.
And then the paramyxo
and
vaccination.
2-3 weeks afterwards, they are vaccinated against pocken.
Pox, yeah, you do them for pox, yeah.
Yeah.
You use the vaccine for pox, do you, as opposed to the old pock away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put them some feathers and then they receive nothing.
You don't, the darkness system, you said you use the darkness system. Obviously January and early February, the days are still, daylight hours are very short anyway. When you put them on the darkness system?
End of February, beginning of March.
End of February, beginning of March, yeah. And what time do you make the loft dark and what time do you make the loft light?
18 o'clock in the evening, and again light 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so it's 13.5 hours in the dark, and obviously the rest in
but
the light.
It isn't quite dark. They can see the feet and the
drinkers, yeah. So it's not totally blacked off.
Yeah.
And when will you run all the young pigeons together? Because at this moment it's now middle of August and all 3 compartments are open, all the birds are together, they're coupled. When will you open the doors and
when they
all
are
the birds
flying
together?
When the last ones are flying good.
Yeah. When you say flying good, what do you call flying good? When they fly for 1 hour, 2 hours? I don't know.
When they fly for 1 hour, but flying then, not making tours around the loft.
No.
They must go away for 25.5 hours, going back again away for 5-10 minutes. That's flying good for me.
That's flying good.
And then they have experience, and then they can come together. Otherwise, you lose too many pigeons from the second breed.
Yeah. And when is that? What time of, is...
Beginning of May.
Beginning of May, they're flying well.
Yeah.
And will you give them any training with the car at all?
Well, afterwards, when they are together, I train them with my car.
Yeah. And what distances?
I started on 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10, and the last time I took them is 20 kilometers.
2 kilometers. You'll start as short as 2 kilometers.
A very short distance.
A very short distance. Some fanciers in England will say, that's crazy. It's so close to home. You can lose them like this. But your experience is...
It's not... I try to acclimatization.
Acclimatize them,
to the baskets.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I do the short distance.
The short distance.
I do it only at one time at 2 kilometers, 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers. I do it 2 times, 3 times. 10 kilometers also 2-3 times, and on the 20 kilometers also 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
When you let them out from the basket, must they come straight back to the loft before you take them to that next training point with the car?
I like it when they are coming back, and I see when I come at home, I see passing them,
Yeah.
and then they go away
Yeah.
for an hour, half hour.
Yeah, half an hour.
That's
Yeah.
something
okay.
I like.
That's something like so. So you let them go. You get home, you see them,
Yeah.
and half an hour later they're back on the loft.
I don't
You like that,
call
yeah?
them immediately in the
In
loft.
the loft. No, oh no, no, no. Do you do it when you put these young pigeons in the basket to take them training? Will you do anything? Will you like get them excited for the food before you take them away for the first training toss, or do you just basket them, put them in the cart and drive them away?
I train them the first time. I train them at the hour my mother let them out normally.
Yeah.
So she lets them out at 3 o'clock. I basket them at 2 o'clock and
Yeah.
go to the place to let them out, and approximately 3 o'clock
Yeah.
I let them out.
You think that's a good thing, yeah?
That's a good thing, yeah.
Take them training
Yeah.
on the normal hour that you would
Yeah.
loose them from the loft.
And certainly the first times.
Yeah, yeah.
Then-
So the birds are then put together. When is the first young pigeon race in Belgium then?
15th of May.
15th of May.
Yeah.
Will you compete in
No.
that flight? No.
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 I start only competing them in the half of June.
Half of June, yeah. So why don't you start at the 15th of May?
Because I am not ready.
You're not ready.
Yeah.
You've got to be ready, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because you're a winner.
I am a winner. I want to win. So my first race I did, that is the first, the years before I didn't race on the short distance,
Yeah.
because I have to clock them with the hand.
With the hand, yeah.
Now we can, this year we can use the electronic system, and now I play them also on the short distance. That's the only reason. And the first time I put them in a race, it was very warm, wind on the nose.
Yeah.
I won the first in the club, and my pigeon was also the first one, the fastest one of the 27,000 who were released in Noyon.
In Noyon,
So it
yeah.
was a
And what's the
complete-
distance? How many kilometres is Noyon back to your-
155.
155 kilometres.
Yeah.
So that's the first race. The first race for your pigeons is 155 kilometres. That's roughly 100 miles.
Yep.
Yeah. And how many training tosses with the car will you give them before this first race?
8.
8.
Yeah.
Eight
And then
times
they
with the
go
car.
with the club
With the club,
several
yeah.
times, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4 times,
Yeah.
and then they go to Noyon.
Is that one day after another day, or is it
No,
No.
it's 2 times in a week.
2 times a week? Yeah. When they've had the first race, and in between each race, are there any training
Nope.
tosses with the car? No
Nope.
training.
No
As soon
training.
as they've had that first race, it's over
yeah.
for driving with the car.
Only and it's only for 10 kilometers. I put them, I bring them away with the car. Those ones who don't fly in the weekend,
Yeah,
who are on nest, who legs
Yeah.
an egg or something.
yeah, yeah. So playing on the nest, how do you make these young pigeons fly? Because nest pigeons, you let them out, the first, especially young pigeons, what they want to do is come back into the loft. So
Yeah.
do you have to force them to fly with the flag? Or?
No, no. I tried, and you see the small
Yeah.
boxes here. I tried until the beginning of July that they aren't in nest.
Yeah,
They haven't anything.
yeah. Will you separate the sexes
No.
then? No?
No, they are staying together.
All together?
But there is here and there is a couple on the ground.
Yeah.
It's no problem. But most of them are not coupled then. When it becomes July, I put here and there some boxes and
Yeah.
things, and I put more and more boxes.
More and
I
more.
don't put them all together, because then you have one couple who takes the whole area.
Whole area, yeah.
Yeah, so I have quite a lot of work to make sure that this one is there, another one is there, another one is there. I don't want them on a nest before July, because they aren't sure of themselves.
Yeah,
Then they
yeah,
have
they've not got the confidence.
Yeah, and they have
They're not mature enough to bring
yeah,
the youngsters.
because you
and so-
lose too many youngsters, when they are on nest in the first flights, they are crazy for their new love, let's say, their new home.
Yeah.
And when there is a race who goes a little difficult,
Yeah.
you lose too many of the couples of the ones who are in nest who are.
Right.
So that's the reason I don't want them to be on nest for the first young races.
Yeah, you want the first, say, 4 races out of the way.
Yeah.
And then then you want them to have the nest. Yeah. These boxes, I mean, there's more boxes in here than you find in the back of a grocery store. You put one box in, I understand, but when they've taken the box, then you'll bring another box in. You don't put them all in on one go, because you could have a dominant pigeon. Take all the areas. Yeah.
And then, let's say, then we are in the end of July. Most of them are coupled.
Yeah.
Now in August, you don't find anyone here who isn't coupled.
Really, yeah.
So at the end of July, you have the 400 kilometers flights, and then there are 2 nights in the basket. For the first flights from 400 kilometers, I put those pigeons who are on nest. So they are for 2 nights away. And then it's the time for the others who aren't coupled to pick up a place.
A place, yeah.
Sometimes, most of the time, they pick out a place where there is another one living. So the first night, I let them go into it, I let them take in the place, and the second day, of the first day they are away, this night, then the day, then I
close it off.
Close it and put, when there is someone here, I put here another.
Yeah.
And they are moving very easily to this
the next
one.
place, yeah.
And when the others come home, I let them in again, and there is some rivalry.
Yeah. You put the next box close to the one that you wanted, and it creates a bit of rivalry.
So they are coupled
pigeons,
now, all.
Every pigeon's coupled, And the first young pigeon races is 155 kilometres. What distances will these young pigeons play on the races from? How far will they go?
They do the system 300, 500 kilometers. 300 kilometers, 500 kilometers each week.
So one Saturday or Sunday with 300 kilometres, the following weeks 500 kilometres, then 300, then 500.
Yeah. That's the normal.
That's the normal, yeah.
When I have one in a very good position, I played him or she 2 times 500 kilometers.
2 times 500 kilometres, yeah.
But otherwise, they're going 300, 500.
Will they go every Saturday?
Yeah.
300, then 500, 300, 500, yeah. Unless they don't come back immediately, yeah.
Or they are coming back.
And how many 300? How many flights will they have at this distance? How many weekends will you play them?
8, 9, 10.
9 or 10, yeah, as many as that, yeah. You don't find it detriment because these pigeons, the hens, will then race again as old pigeons, yeah? You don't take too much out of the young pigeons. Because you have a theory about racing pigeons, don't you? You can only race a pigeon for 2 years. You can't race a pigeon as a young pigeon, a yearling, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old.
No.
No pigeons will race that.
No.
What's your theory for that then?
I think you have to use your pigeons at the moment you want. I want to use them as a youngster, yearling, 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it's finished.
Yeah.